Hello students, welcome to Eduauraa. I'm Priya Kumari, your mentor for Indian economy. Now let us discuss what are the types of inflation on the basis of speed or intensity. The first one is creeping or mild inflation. If the speed of upward thrust in prices is slow but small, then we have creeping inflation. What speed of annual price rise is a creeping inflation has not been stated by the economists. To some extent, a creeping or mild inflation is one when annual price rise varies between 2 to 3%. If a rate of price rise is kept at this particular level, it is considered to be helpful for the economic development. Others argue that if the annual price rise goes slightly beyond 3% mark, still then it is considered to be of no danger for the economy. Now coming to the next, that is walking inflation. If the rate of annual price rise lies between 3% to 4%, then we have a situation of walking inflation. When mild inflation is allowed to fan out, walking inflation appears. These two types of inflation may be described as a moderate inflation. Which of the two types I'm talking about? I'm talking about the creeping inflation and the walking inflation. So these two types are described as the moderate inflation. Often we can say that one-digit inflation rate is called the moderate inflation, which is not only predictable but also keeps people faith on the monetary system of the country. People's confidence gets lost once the moderately maintained rate of inflation goes out of control, and the economy is then caught with the galloping inflation. The next one is the galloping inflation. Walking inflation may be converted into running inflation, and running inflation is ultimately dangerous for our economy. If it is not controlled, it may ultimately be converted to galloping inflation. It is an extreme form of inflation when an economy gets shattered. Inflation is the double or triple digit range of 20, 100 or 200% in a year. And that is labeled to as galloping inflation. For example, we can observe the galloping inflation right now in the country that is Sudan. It is approximately around 71% in Sudan. Now, the next type is hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is when the prices of goods and services is more than 50% a month. It is fortunately very rare. In fact, most examples of hyperinflation have occurred when the government printed money recklessly to pay for war. Examples of hyperinflation include Germany in the 1920s, Zimbabwe in the 2000s, and during the American Civil War. Now coming to the next type is stagflation. Stagflation is when the economy experiences stagnant economic growth. High unemployment and high inflation is a situation called stagflation. It is unusual because the policies to reduce inflation make life difficult for the unemployed, while steps to alleviate unemployment raise inflation. Now, coming to the next, that is the core inflation. Core inflation shows price rise in all goods and services except for food and energy due to the high price fluctuations. As we can observe that oil is a highly volatile commodity with daily price fluctuations or with daily price variations. Food prices change based on gas prices. It heavily reflects on the transportation costs, which are directly linked to the oil prices. As the government needs a fairly stable and true picture of the inflation, core inflation is calculated in that case. Now, coming to the next, we need to discuss that what is headline inflation. Headline inflation measure considers total inflation in an economy. Headline inflation includes food and energy prices, which are more volatile.